Clueless companies, genius moves, and everything in between in our news right here, right now. This video is dedicated to the memory of James Earl Jones and Sérgio Mendes. Gentlemen, thank you for your art. Greetings Romy, you're watching Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and our regular news roundup, or mostly weekly sim racing news. Thanks to all those who come here often, especially those who subscribe, and even more our patrons. My name is Sérgio and I will be your host for this video. A warm welcome to our newest member, Steve Worrell. Welcome to the family! Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown exists. Fanatec has a new owner, and it's the good one. Thrustmaster have been living under a rock for a while, and it shows. And we have a news video once again after a dry spell and the pandemic lastly reaching my shores, so to speak. Luckily, the boosters made it a mild case and I'm on my feet once again. And we also have very interesting news from Project Motor Racing, which hopefully won't be a dot like Le Mans Ultimate or Pista Motorsport, although LMU has gotten better and is drivable now, and Pista got some updates. By Fanatec by Ender, hello Fanatec by Corsair. This dropped on Friday. Ender AG, owners until now of Fanatec, will be liquidated and all assets, IP and whatnot will go to Corsair. At last. As we already said in our podcast, this is the better solution for Fanatec's issues, Corsair being a hardware company that understands engineering. And Fanatec is a good company to acquire. Dust it off, clean up their act, you got a nice juicy fruit. Elgato is proof Corsair can do good things with their acquisitions, while they've also delivered stinkers under that brand. The Blue Yeti must be one of the worst microphones I've tested in my life. Corsair will also take over all the contracts, including the employment contracts of Fanatec. On the other hand, I hope they fire those responsible for PR as soon as possible, as their PR in the last 7 years has amounted to not much more than a pile of fertilizer. Ender AG will disappear from the stock market, and according to Starrock rules, the stockholders will not see a dime. These come so quick, I would not be surprised if Yakemaya didn't get a lump sum to stop fighting against the sell. Other stockholders, well, we know what normally happens to the small people, right? Corsair will also acquire any kind of company Ender AG owned, which means they will also end up owning the Chinese manufacturer. An interesting point in the very sparse press release by Ender is that the real estate remains up for sale. It may be that at the end of the day they will move out of the shiny new HQ all over again. The thing is, I know for a fact there is hundreds of square kilometers of business real estate in Germany empty, never used, because after the pandemic many people have discovered the joys of working from home, and the big business spaces now only see some managers sitting around lonely. So it's going to be a hard sell, that HQ building. Thrustmaster is blathering something about the death of first generation DD. Mates, we're on the 4th generation of DD already. Wake up and smell the motor oil. How much of a yesterday company do you have to be so tone deaf? No matter how many papers you try to shine on our eyes saying what we already know. And yeah, go ahead and whine on the comments how mean we are to poor Thrustmaster. The more comments, the more engagement, the more YouTube pushes our video forward. And while we're at it, they have released a new QR technology which looks more plasticky and worse than the one they had. I suppose they hope people will break it quick and will have to buy their Thrustmaster systems all over again. Which I wouldn't in such a case, just as I don't buy any products from Dell or Acer anymore because they are built to break, but you do you. Season 424 of iRacing is out now, having all in it we told you it would, while Assetto Corsa Competizione has delivered the newest 2024 season of the SRO GT3 Europe for free. Thank you, Kunos! Next Level Racing have released a foldable entry-level wheel stand for the couch racers out there who want to enjoy a wheel. Looks like a good idea, will send your bank account back between $160 and 130 British pound. SCS Truck Simulators released the 1.51 version we've been talking about for the last weeks. Now all those changes are on the main line. Enjoy! And while we're talking truck simulators, the Arkansas DLC comes out tomorrow for American Truck Simulator. Race Room has released a patch with tuned AI, some graphical corrections, and other small corrections. Another with, this time much needed corrections, is Pista Motorsport, which saw 2 hotfixes since published with a lot of graphic improvements and a bit of sound improvements. Also, it seems they worked on controller settings, so I'll have to check it out once again to see if now I can drive with it on my wheel. And now VR is only activated when you activate it. Regardless of the quick reaction by the devs, I gotta say, abusing the buyers as QA is still a thing I wish development studios would stop doing once and for all, even something I would penalize by law. I know it works when you add penalties to contracts, and how? Straight 4 woke up of their slumber and have started delivering newsletters once again. In the latest, they tell us that while they are using the Giants engine, the one that's behind Farming Simulator, this will not be the engine behind the physics of what is now called Project Motor Racing. That one's been cooking in-house for the last 2 years under the guidance of A.G. Weber. It seems the Giants engine delivered a better graphics performance than the one they were using, which, after some to and fro, we don't know anymore if it was Unreal, Madness, or the one of the ZX Spectrum, truth to be told. Also, let's not forget that Straight 4 went into partnership with Giants and that the latter is going to be the publisher of the new sim. This means they are invested in its success and may be therefore more willing to accommodate changes in the engine and to show the innards of it to S4. Another point S4 clearly makes is that the Giants engine is open to mods, and with the Lua engine can even bring logic inside of the mods. For those who don't know, Lua is a very potent language that has been used in gaming since forever and, by the way, was created in Brazil. It was already being used in World of Warcraft, ask your grandpa about that game, and is used today all around. Lua is a language widely used in gaming and modding. Among the many things the Giants engine has going in its favor is that it's also ready for multiplayer, even competitive multiplayer, as, believe it or not, there has been fierce esports competition going on in the world of Farming Simulator for years, and that even over many platforms including Android and iOS. Seeing it in this light, it's surprising nobody has noticed the advantages of the Giants engine before. Maybe this is one of these genius moves people talk about with Ian. I don't know.